I don't have a problem with copying. In fact, I feel copying is one of the highest forms of flattery. If people can copy your work, it's because they admire it.
Hello everyone, you're welcome to another episode of the Business of Baking Season 2, Evolve, telling the stories between. And today we have a very amazing and very beautiful and also very dainty. I'm very sure by saying dainty, you already know who we have here. So it's such an honor and privilege to be sitting here with Mrs Ogunjimi. And today she's going to be telling us the story of her baking career. So Mrs Ogunjimi, can we meet you, ma?
So first, I'm happy to be here.
Thank
It's such
you.
a pleasure to be part of something so beautiful.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. So can we briefly meet you?
Okay. So when people ask me to introduce myself, I always like to know from what direction. Do you want me to introduce myself from the direction of just a cake maker, or what this cake business has completely turned me into?
Okay. So I think generally, let's just meet you generally first.
Okay.
Then you're going to tell us about baking.
Lovely. All right. So my name is Dainty Ogunjimi, and I'm a cake business owner. I like to use the word visionary cake business owner because I've come into a place where I can say that I've evolved. I started baking in my mother's kitchen as a teenager at the age of 16. And in those days, there was no pressure. We're just having fun. And when I eventually decided to pursue it as a career, it took a while before I settled down. But when we finally settled down, I've taken on a personal or a cake. I can say my cake business has become a holistic cake business where we're not just catering to the customers who want cakes, but we're also catering to that part people don't see, which is the people who work with us, and also a community of bakers, who are startups, who are just starting up the cake business, or who have been pursuing it as a hobby and want to finally take that plunge of being serious, or people who have even been running it for years and finally need to come to the place where they need to organize themselves. So in a nutshell, I am that cake business owner that is very thoughtful. I understand what my purpose is in the industry, and it's not just about making money. It's about building, it's about impacting. So that's the introduction I want to give you for this theme that we're working with.
Yeah. So I think even with what you said right now, we can end the interview and it's already very insightful. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Right.
You said you started to bake when you were 16, and I know that you're in your 40s right now. So what has that journey been like?
Yesterday, we posted something on our Instagram page. Like a lot of pictures, not a lot, I think 5 pictures of sometime probably we posted a picture of a cake I made in 2001.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I think I was a final student at University of Lagos then.
Okay.
That cake is there. I also posted the picture of, I think maybe 15 years ago. And then I posted a recent one we did last year. So it's been a journey. We're not there yet. Okay, we're definitely not there yet, but this journey has completely changed my life. You know, I say I haven't just been built to just bake cakes. I think I had to actually put my hand in flour and sugar to come to understand me, myself. Because it's taught me leadership. It's taught me accountability. It's taught me care. It's taught me integrity. Running this cake business has completely taught me how to solve problems on the go. You know, you come into this environment not knowing that you need to do this and that, but things just literally are tossed and thrown at you, and you need to quickly make decisions that if you don't make that decision at that time, and beyond the decision, what is the essence of the decision you are making? Is it going to make or mar you? Because there are some decisions you make immediately that seems right, but in retrospect, they were not the right decision. So the journey has taught me thoughtfulness. it's taught me humility. All right? You can be doing all the right things, but not getting the type of results you want. It's taught me patience. It's taught me consistency. Do you know what it is like doing something for over 20 years? From the hobby level to the business level. Just join all of that together. So yes, if you're saying what has my journey been in that time, it's been life transforming.
Okay, so I'm really just hearing a lot of things that you're saying. And so for a lot of people might just think it's just cake. I'm just baking cakes. So it's much more than that. It can literally transform your life. Okay. Thank you very much, ma. Do you remember the first cake you baked?
First cake I baked. So everybody, well, the cake community knows that I learned with a lady called Mrs Fality. Okay, and she lived somewhere in, or lives in Ogba, and I lived at Ojodo at the time. So I would take a transport, public bus to her place. And of course, it was what she wanted us to do. But after I left her place, shortly before I entered Unilag, I think a cake that stands out that I can remember that I made was a teddy bear cake. You know all those performance pans that you have to pipe
on them.
one shell. And if you miss it, there's one space that you need to go and cover. So I remember that very well. I also remember this wedding cake. I can remember my very first wedding cake. I remember that. I had no clue that you had to put dowels inside the cake. Okay. At the time, my mom had a staff who was getting married. And she just said, Lola, do ya? Papa, me she cake. Maybe she's come and make my cake. No pressure. We just went to the market, bought the things we needed. And when I got to the venue of the reception, I sat at the back. I just saw the cake tilting like this.
So what's one side?
I'm like, what's wrong with this cake? Why is this cake moving in that direction? I felt really bad, to be honest.
But you fall off.
It was extreme though. It really tilted. If it didn't fall, it tilted that much for me to have felt bad. So I think that was the journey of my growing up, because I had to go and learn, what do you put inside a wedding cake? I now went to learn later that there's support systems that go into. I wish I had taken a picture of that cake, by the way.
Okay. And thankfully, it's not this social media era where they
I know,
do what
right?
I ordered. That was what I got.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Thank you very much, ma. The baking industry is an ever-evolving one. And one of the things you just said now is about a cake that you baked, the one that used to have these pans that you pipe on, that used to have characters. So we know that the industry keeps evolving. So how do you make sure that you're evolving with the trend, but you still retain your originality? Like, you still retain who you are, but you also want to evolve with the trend?
That's an interesting question. I love how you use the word originality. I've been running this business now officially for over 15 years. And that's a long time to have a lot of experience. You have made a lot of mistakes. You know what works. You know what doesn't work. Most importantly, you know who you are. All right? So this journey has taught me so much originality and authenticity. So I'm not one who just makes decisions based on trends.
Okay.
Our bakery style, our brand style is very mature. It's very chic, fun. All right, it's very girly. And because I know who we are as a brand, no matter how the trends come and go, because we have embraced who we are, even the way we express ourselves is very authentic. So even if it's a teddy bear cake I'm still going to make today, we will make it and it will tick the box of who we are as a Dainty at first. People tell me, oh, I saw this cake. Before I even saw the name, I knew it was you. All right, so that's how strong your brand is. Or that's how strong our brand has become. All right, so it's not about us following trends here, because trends come and go. You know, and the problem with the community generally is people copy so much.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with copying. In fact, I feel copying is one of the highest forms of flattery. If people can copy your work, it's because they admire it. But we live in a community where people just go copy like that, bam, copy and paste. There's no originality with that. All right, so you will see the cake businesses generally that thrive and stand out are the ones who are constantly reinventing themselves or stay true to their brand. Not that we remain like, what's it called? Like, we don't know what we're doing and everyone evolves and we have not changed. We definitely need to evolve. And I think for us, understanding our brand was very important for me. Once I understood what our brand was, it just helped me to make decisions as far what our products and our identity looks like overall.
Okay. All right, ma. Thank you so much, ma. So you said a lot of things about values. You talked about integrity and a lot of other things. But just to nail it, I'd like you to tell us some of the values that you hold dear that guides and influences your decision in business, that helps you to say, because a lot of times when we see Dainty, we have an idea of, oh, this is what this brand is. But can you just tell us some of those values that you hold very dear?
Simple. We have it articulated on our mission board, and it's 4 of them: care, integrity, respect, creativity.
Okay.
So care, we're very caring, not just to the people we attend to. Even in-house, the way we relate as a team, there's no discrimination. It's because you know me, if I'm with my staff, you won't even know who the boss is. All right, I'm a very down-to-earth person because I understand everybody in the value chain matters a lot. No matter how beautiful the cakes are, I don't want to wash plates. I don't want to sweep. And these people, when you realize the essence of the job they do, you need to respect that. All right. Care for me is also caring for the recipes. If the recipe says 2 teaspoons of whatever, and you go and put 1 teaspoon, it will affect. All right. And understanding that if you care for even the tools and equipments you have, they last long. All right. You care for your customers by training your customer care rep to respond to customers' inquiries in the most responsible, courteous, and friendly way. All of that is just part of how we should operate. In a country that doesn't understand that you really need to put this type of work in, getting staff and training them this way is a whole lot of work, I must say. But that's why we form these 4 principles I've just called now. They are part of our core values. We call them core values. So we need to train people from scratch and constantly remind them. So that's it about care. The thing about care is if you're caring, people respect you. Respect is not something that you pay for, it is earned. So when you care for people around you, when you care for your customers when they call you, in turn, they respect you back. Your staff respects you. Your community respects you. And then, of course, integrity. We run largely as an online store. And I do not like when, people just have an experience that is bad on that online space, because it takes a lot of trust to go online, click, and expect the cake to come. The cake has to come in the right way, at the right time. Okay, so that's it for me as far as integrity, meaning what you say and saying what you mean, not just for the camera. It has to look the part, it has to taste the part. And then, of course, creativity. What's a Dainty Affairs without creativity? Yeah. We always love to infuse, those creative juices into everything we do. We cannot bake, we cannot decorate, but is that unique creativity you have that would differentiate your piece from another person's work.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma. So this question that I'm about to ask is that, have you ever been in a place where you were facing maybe lots of challenges or maybe a few challenges and you almost gave up?
That's very deep. I still face challenges day before yesterday. Yesterday, sir.
But you're still here.
Oh my, of course. Challenges are like ingredients that if you don't put those ingredients in the stew won't be tasteful. So like I mentioned, we've been doing this for a while, and when I finally got the healing I needed to take it up as a livelihood, not just a place where I'm earning money, a livelihood, I had to realize that challenges came in to mold and shape me for the next level. There was a time where if we wanted to hire customer care rep, we would just talk to them. If they sounded smart, we don't rely on you sounding smart again. We actually do theoretical interview now, where you do a lot of things, and it's from what you have done that we now say, oh, she's really what she says she is. Only then can we even begin to ask other questions. Or if you don't pass the integral or the very first part of our interview, you can't even go to the next level. All right. So challenges, even in-house. I remember when one of our challenges was trying to get the business run sustainably without me. I just couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what to do. And for goodness sake, I tried and tried. But I thank God that and that's the place of understanding. I went out, I sought knowledge, I paid for classes. It's not enough to do online classes, by the way. Sometimes you need to sit with someone, flesh and blood. Let them tell you how they did what they did in their business that has made them thrive. And then, of course, I'm a woman of faith. Okay, in my quiet time, in the place of prayer, these are things I unburden. I pray about it. I tell God, Lord, this is what I'm going through. This is so much for me, and it will interest you that at that point where I become vulnerable, things may even become worse. Because at that time, God wants you to really deal with that matter. So I tell you how we dealt with that matter of sustainability. There were just problems all the time. So we went, and this is a practical example. So after the lockdown, we make these cakes. We make these cakes for a retail store. They're called our RTGs. That's ready to go cakes. And they're supposed to, that was my solution to everyday cakes. Okay? But the way those cakes are baked are completely different from the way our custom cakes are baked. Our custom cakes are not mass produced. In fact, they're baked in one stand oven, small stand oven, so it's like a home style cake. So because we came out of coronavirus, so the staff that was handling our custom cakes stopped coming. So I had to quickly take the staff that was largely responsible for baking the ready-to-go cakes to begin to bake the custom cakes. And because I take feedback very seriously, I began to hear feedback from customers, really terrible negative feedback. In fact, one of the customers used a word like horrible. And that was when I now decided that, you know what, let me even go into where you are producing. Let me see what is happening. So I now found out that the hand she was using to make the ready-to-go mass cakes was the hand she was using to make
the custom
cakes. All right, custom cakes, because they are, baked single like that in a smaller bowl, smaller mixer, you can't be as harsh as how you will bake for like a whole batch of butter and sugar.
Yeah.
So because of that, the cakes were not creaming properly. And if your cake is not properly creamed, no matter how beautiful it is,
it won't taste good.
It won't taste good at all. So when I saw like, OMG, this is what has happened or is happening here, I literally had to close the bakery for a week. We didn't take any order. So I spent that week retraining my staff. Beyond retraining my staff, I also spent that week documenting intentionally. So everything we were doing and everything they were doing, we documented it. So that way we had the data to always refer back to, oh, this is how we baked this cake. Oh, this was the design. We baked this amount of vanilla cakes in this recipe. Each pan was this weight. That way we were able to document as far as what we wanted to happen all the time. So when that order came again from another customer, all we needed to do was just go back to what we had documented. Oh, this exactly is what was done. So there was no more waste. We knew what we used. Not that you're baking a 6 inches cake, you go and use a 10 inches board. Everything was documented. So when I began to do that, there was a lot more transparency. There was less talking. Do you understand? And for me, that was how I was able to manage that specific challenge. But challenge, you would think they are gone once you finish, but another one will just come and stare you at the eye. So is it everybody that wants to? Then nobody will be doing anything. What just happens, or what I've come to realize, is that I don't wait for anybody to pick me up. As a business owner, not just even a cake business owner, you need resilience, you need grit. There are things that you need to always fall back on when you feel that way, all right? you need your people around you, your support who will encourage you. And if nobody encourages you, encourage yourself. If nobody encourages you, encourage yourself. All right, and just get back. There's this adage, but I'll say it in English, that the front looks like you can't go, but the back also looks like you can't go. So you're stuck in the middle. You understand? And you just have to keep going.
Thank you so much for the great insights you've shared. I mean, you said a lot of things right now. How, as business owners, we need to have resilience, grit, and pick yourself up. Challenges will always come up, but you need to know that you are made for this. Okay, so we know you just opened a state-of-the-art bakery studio, and we don't know if you would like to show us around.
Oh, I would love to, actually.
Okay. Thank you.
You should go on your apps or softwares.